Okay, well, welcome everybody to our regular meeting for October. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to open the meeting.
Second.
Member Powers, to open the meeting.
Aye. Yeah.
Member Vanderswag.
Aye.
Member Shannon.
Aye.
Chair Cook.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. Like I said, this is our regular October meeting for any of you who are here for the first time or watching for the first time. The way we open our meeting, we have to do everything by motion. The board can't take any actions unless it's by motion, so that's why you'll hear us make a motion to do something, somebody will second, and then we'll take a vote. It might seem tedious, but that's the way we have to do it to make sure we're complying with the laws. So the first item on every agenda is a conflict of interest disclosure. So the board will go around and each of us will disclose whether we have any potential conflicts of interest with respect to any of the items that are on the agenda for tonight. I'll go ahead and start. I don't have anything to disclose.
I do not.
I do not.
I do.
Okay. So the first item, or I guess the next item on the agenda is we've got two applications related to 50 State Street from Charlie Cox and sorry, Fox. I have a friend who's named Parker Cox. So why don't we, before we open the public hearing, well, before we hear from the applicant, I wanted to just see if we could review some of the history here. I think we heard an application on this matter about a year ago now, and I think the prior application was withdrawn. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Okay.
You can call them up to do the history, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we could do that. Do you want to come up and tell us about your application, and what you're doing here? Okay.
thank you, Chair. I just know we have two new board members, so.
Yeah.
Where'd you like to sit?
Wherever you'd like. Wherever you're comfortable.
Is there's the occupants.
Yeah.
So all right, so I'm Charlie Fox, the owner of the property. We're here tonight for a proposed addition to the rear, of abode furniture. We're proposing approximately 2,200 square feet. Currently where the dumpster enclosure is located. We're proposing to move the dumpster enclosure behind Northfield Music, so it's more accessible to the whole plaza. It also will help cure the noise complaints that I guess we've gotten over the years for the trash company coming too early or picking up too late. So that will help with that. The addition will be set in the current pre-existing non-conforming setback that's already there. We're not gonna go, that line is not gonna move.
Right.
And then the exterior of the building will basically match the existing same type of structure. We'll relocate a couple of the exterior lights to be more on the parking lot / field side of the building. And the downspouts will dump onto the pavement like the existing, so. It's basically it in a nutshell.
All right.
Can I ask a question about
Please.
the relief that you're seeking? So it was described as a lot line variance, but you're not proposing to change the formal lot line.
Right, it's like,
So it's really a setback variance.
well, I guess it's already existing too, so there's a pre-existing non-conforming variance already kind of in place for the existing building.
But my question is, you're not seeking to change the
No.
formal lot line.
No,
Yeah, I think we'd probably characterize it as a setback variant, an area.
I was just doing what the
Yeah.
inspector told me to write.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about the project?
Maybe they can describe the business and
Yeah.
why we're seeking.
Yeah, I think if I go too far, I don't keep it relatively relevant. We've just experienced a lot of growth. It was a good move when we came here. We're tight on space, so we have the building on this side of the dumpster and the building on this side of the dumpster, so to be able to connect them would make sense for us to gain the space we need versus adding a second location for space.
Right. You've got like your the business, the retail, and then you've got like a garage, right? And then this would be connecting those two, and it would be used for storage?
It would actually be showroom space.
Oh, okay,
Showroom
okay.
space. Yeah, so storage, we would certainly keep that if things really take off. Offsite storage is certainly much easier to manage than finding a second showroom, so.
Yeah.
That's what,
Okay,
yeah, we're open, I don't know if it matters, we're open 11 to 5. We don't really operate outside of those hours, for occasional events, they're usually done by.
Sure. Okay, and there wouldn't be any change to your current, hours of operation or anything like that?
No, we're not selling anything outside of the current categories we sell today. Yeah, Jesus.
And we'd actually compensate for the loss of parking spaces. Because where the dumpster would be moved to would eliminate a few parking spaces, but because of the additional building, there'd be parking spaces along the front of that building that is currently dumpster. That would make up for the loss of the parking spaces that the dumpsters would take care of.
Okay. Any other members of the board have any questions you'd like to ask the applicants?
So what's the height of this addition,
It's it matches the existing height.
which is 23?
Alexandra, did you get the names of the tenants who also spoke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. The peak of the roof is at 23 feet.
Oh,
Area and Crenshaw.
Thank you, and you are,
The owners of the business or the tenant.
thank you.
okay.
And why does it have to be so high?
Because, I mean, the higher, the current buildings, it's at that height, and we're trying to match the existing and keep flexibility for, repurposing it down the road, and the fact that they like to have higher ceilings for the
We need pendant lighting and things displayed like that, so we certainly do have some flexibility, but we do use.
And when you run out of space this way, you've got space. this way.
Okay. I think we may have some more questions as we go on, but I wanted to open the public hearing and hear public comment before we do that, unless anybody has any other questions that you want to ask now at this time.
We said there was a previous application?
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
one
that's right.
withdrawn, and it was about basically the focus at that time was where the dumpster was being proposed. Going to be proposed over behind, like closer to Dolce Cupcake. And so there was much conversation around that, and so we decided we found a good location that would work a lot better, just stuff like that.
Okay, so it doesn't, yeah, okay. It wasn't about an addition or anything like that.
Correct, I'm just changing where the.
Okay, that's what I was.
Okay,
That's
so the addition-
what I was wondering about, and
Addition
that's
is-
why I was like, you're doing an addition before, but.
The addition was proposed at that time, which
Yeah.
the location of the dumpster is different than this application.
Oh, okay, so that's the only difference from the previous application,
Right.
where we're now moving the
Oh,
dumpster.
and the other parts are the same. The
Correct.
building addition is the same that you
It was,
proposed.
yeah, it was the location of the dumpster. There was some conversation about that, and we're gonna figure that out.
And is the footprint of the building the same? You see proposed?
All right, now, before we open the public hearing, I did want to just address, make sure that we're in compliance with the noticing requirements, because I saw the notice that was printed, but I didn't see the list of addresses that it's sent to that we normally see.
I just forgot to give it.
Okay, but it was sent.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, the
Just wanted to
mailing
make
list was sent out, yeah,
Okay, good.
absolutely.
Okay, good. All right, I mean, I guess at this time, we'll go ahead. I would move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you, by the way, guys.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Member Shannon,
I,
member Powers,
Aye.
member Vandersway,
Aye.
Chair Cook,
Aye.
motion passes.
Okay, why don't we start with who's here in the room? I see Art, you're raising your hand. Would you like to come up and go first?
Chair member of the board, Arthur 70 State Street. I was here back in November of 2024 as well. October is the number. For the first meeting, I made comments similar to what I found for myself. I apologize, but did you get that when distributed?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. So as I noted back then, that number one, I think this should be, it was labeled on the application as a minor site plan. In fact, in October of 2024, I made mention of the same, I think, but I don't know. That's why it was subsequently tabled and then came back as a major. If a major site plan application has different criteria than a minor site plan application, and what triggered it was a greater than 400 square foot building, because now on the application is 2140 square feet. With that said, there's different criteria. One of them is setbacks is 15 or 35 feet, but if it's contiguous, that being a commercial with residential, it's 35. So with that consideration, what's being asked for is substantial over the 35 required setback. I think for the clarification about the area variance versus allowing that the entity as well. So with that said, and then also as far, first of all, I'm not against the application in general. We support and they do a great job because it's a great contribution. But the question is here again, there's two buildings. One is, as noted, that have 23 feet. But then there's this smaller one, and I'm not sure if you have the photos also that I sent to the board.
We're not seeing.
There was another last minute thing that I meant to send out, and this was shared here again back in 2024.
Well, these are photos from the 2024 application.
Yeah, but it's one and the same. Yeah, but it's one and the same.
Of the building.
Right, and what you'll see, yeah, and there's two buildings. You're, again, if you're facing it, you're in the back, the fields on your back and looking at it. On the right, obviously, it's the large, the little 23-story, but it's just one. There's not two levels, if you will. And the one on the left, I believe, is also being used by governments where it's connected to, and that's a single story with a greater setback. So I think with consideration of neighbor, I think it's 66 in Cole State Street, with consideration that it's commercial property contiguous to adjacent to a residential, that if a variance were to be granted for the setback variance from a 35 feet to lesser, that the consideration be a single story with consideration of the view, with consideration that it matches this other building to the left, if you will. And last but not least, that if they're using only a single story now and don't build within the existing building for second floor, or again, and I haven't heard otherwise, maybe today for a 2-story building. And it seems single floor today, tomorrow in the existing, both of them, why not? Tomorrow, and then again, it matches the secondary building, if you will, which they are using today. As far as overall elevations, I didn't see that in the application, but I might even carry over from the other year. The other issue is, and here again, just a question mark. I don't think I've ever seen a signed site plan for the entire development. We've been asking a number of residents, have been asking that for years. Here again, not adversarially, but just proper protocol. A plan with signed the town signatures, not just any approved, but who approved it. All I did see at best was a plan that just said approved with no signatures all over the years, which leads into the parking requirements. There's ratios, obviously, and if it's being sought more than is required, then so be it, and that variance request would be activated on the submittal. So I think the long and the short support the application in general, but I think with consideration of the neighbors and the fact that you're able to single story building or height, And that's all that the applicant is asking for today, that the board today consider all those facts. And action on that. And we'll come.
Thank you, Art. Anybody else here in the room have any, would like to make any public comments? Please, yeah. Ladies first.
Hi there, thank you for having me. I am Lynn Cole, 66 State Street, so I am the property that would be directly impacted by this. And again, I will restate my same concerns that I stated last year when this was proposed, is that if there are to be variances to be given, the regulations state that it should not negatively affect the property value of adjacent properties. And it's my adjacent property. When I purchased this property, I put a lot of money into making my yard nice, and my current yard, gives you some view into the backfield. If a two-story building was to be put behind my property, that would completely wall off my property and block sunlight and really, have a negative impact on the property value of my property. So I would request that revisions be made to consider a smaller one-story building, consider something that still allows access out the back of my property. Because of when I look at my neighbor's property that have a two-story building that's right adjacent to their property, it's really pretty ugly. There's my statement.
Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize, there was somebody else before. Some more after it, it's okay.
We usually do public comment at least 3 minutes. I don't know if you want to allow the same person to speak.
Why don't we, let's hear who else is here, and then if there's time, then maybe we can hear some more from Art.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, John.
John Lindbeck, 62 State Street, and I would like to state for the record that I think Abode is a wonderful business. I have absolutely no problem with them behind my house. They've been wonderful neighbors. It's just unfortunate that their application, or the application that was put in on their behalf, was done the way it does. I agree with our peers that this should be a major site plan review, because it isn't 400 square feet, it's 2,140. And as I look through the major site plan review category, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that should have been on this plan that was submitted to the board that isn't there at all. I didn't see anything on the drawings that I had that showed where the variance was going to occur and what that variance was. Two of the stormwater, what I'm gonna call them downspouts, come right in the backyards, and I think those should be relocated so they don't dump rainwater in the neighbors' yards. I'm not gonna list every single item in a major site plan application that's missing on this, but some of them were kind of glaring. They talk about the location of existing and proposed landscaping, screening, walls, fences, including information, size and type of plants, building materials. There was none of that. The other thing that I was concerned with, location of existing and proposed public and private streets, off-street parking areas, loading areas. People routinely park in the RG&E right away. And I just wonder what kind of an agreement was there. I know Jenny Collins, for her businesses on Shone Place, she has an agreement with RG&E, and I know she pays a fee to RG&E every year for, I think it's the privilege of parking. I don't know that for sure. There's nothing on there about utility systems. I did find out, I had a package that was given to me that showed the history of this property, and where there isn't what I would consider a site plan where you have all the required signatures on it, that showed the history of, back and forth between the boards where different elements of the site plan were approved. And I guess there's a de facto site plan, but on this one here, I'm just a little disappointed because the drawing that was submitted is at least 10 years. The properties on State Street aren't listed correctly. There's a lot of information on there that could have been updated. And I would love to see, that if this is approved, that, you know, we get a drawing that at least has a signature block on it for the chairman, so that going forward, we would have a document on file with the village that, you know, kind of says, here's our approved site plan, but, you know, a site plan should have a lot of stuff on it, not just, you know, individual drawings, which is what I saw, 2 or 3 different drawings. You should have all the buildings, you should have all the correct information about surrounding properties, you should have the lighting, you should have the parking, you should have the drainage, everything all on one drawing. It can get a little busy, but I still think that that's what we need for a site plan, because that's what we have for most other site plans in the village. So again, I hate to see a boat impacted in any way, shape, or form, but I don't think we should accept poor paperwork for their application. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Art, why don't you go ahead quickly?
Yeah, very quickly. So I would just ask the board to consider the.
Name it.
Oh, sorry, furniture studies. I just asked the board to consider the standard process of area variances, the criteria, whether it's undesirable change, produce character or change, neighborhood change or detriment to neighborhood properties. I've been kind of spoken to by Mr. Paul, whether the benefits sought by the applicant, requested variances is substantial. I think going from 35 step back through code to what they're asking is substantial. And then lastly here on the slide, whether most variance would have an adverse impact on physical environment conditions in the neighborhood district, including the adjacent neighbors. The last one, I guess, is the side that's curious, there was land RG and it's being utilized, but I don't know if that ever came to the board and it were approved, and I'm not sure who did it. But there's pavement out there beyond the limits of the Northfield Commons property, but it's continuous. And obviously, my visual is intended to be a expansion of the pavement for that course around the RG property, but I don't know if the village knows who paved it or if there's any rules for that. That kind of leads into making the best comments to as follows. It's part of substantiation and thoroughness of the. So
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Art. And by the way, this document, this was from you, correct, Art?
Correct.
Okay. All right, that is a part of the record.
Yes.
Do we have anybody online?
My hand just went up.
Okay,
Peggy, you can speak if you unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm in my living room with the TV on, so I'm sorry about that. I just have a couple of questions for your consideration.
Just give us your name and address for the
Oh,
record.
I'm sorry. Margaret Caraberas, 81 South Main Street.
Thanks.
First of all, will the Preservation Board be looking at this design in terms of the consistency with the rest of the Northfield Commons and backing up to the neighborhood? That's one question. Another question is this subject to LWRP review? And thirdly, is there any way of considering the impact on the neighborhood of putting this building up? There's very little space at the end of that property for any further. I understand why it's being put there, but I'm just wondering how you're going to weigh the impact on the neighborhood of this building going in. And fourthly, I'm wondering if this impacts the parking plan that Northfield Commons has. Anticipating that perhaps a boat is also hoping that there will be more people coming to their property to look at their merchandise. So those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other Public comments, okay, and did we receive any in the chat?
No Q and A in the chat.
Okay. Did we receive any through email that we need to consider?
Mr. Pierce, did you have anything else you wanted me to read that you didn't already speak about?
No, I think it's pretty much covered by what I said as well as the documents submitted. Thank you.
Yeah, our peers submitted comments, but you spoke here.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, well, should we move to close the public hearing, or would the members of the board like to leave it open while we deliberate? Anybody have any preference on that? Do we have any thought from council whether it would be more appropriate to leave it open?
Yeah, my thought is why don't we leave it open for the time being and see where the conversation goes.
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. Okay. All right. Well, we will not at this time need to to close the public hearing. So there were a couple of, I had some concerns that were raised by some of the public comments about whether it was supposed to be a minor or a major site plan. And you know, looking at the code, it looked like it did fall within the criteria for a major site plan because here it is, because it exceeded 400 square feet. So you know, when I initially looked at it, I saw it was a minor site plan application, and it looked to me like the application was complete under the criteria for a minor site plan application, but unfortunately, I do think that we do have some problems if it is in fact a major site plan review, which as I look at the code, I don't think we can avoid that conclusion that it is, because it is over 400 square feet. So that's the first issue that I had. And there are a number of additional pieces that need to be in the application when it's a major site plan. I think maybe some of these we could address through, you know, amending the application as we sit here today, but I'm a little bit concerned that some of them it would probably be better to just to get a complete application rather than amend it as discussed, which is something we sometimes can do, but I'm a little concerned about that. Yeah, why don't you go ahead?
Steve, the building inspector is the one that told me to file minor site plan. And
Yeah.
I think it had to do with the fact that there's already an existing structure there, the bounce jump road is.
Right. No, I hear that, and
Yeah, but you have rationale behind it. Not 100% what that was.
yeah,
Can you direct me to that?
Well, he actually did respond to that in email to the board about this already.
I think I missed
We
that.
agreed that it was nature in the email.
And that the public notice was for site plan, so if the board wanted to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they can review or at their discretion.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the frustration, but you know, we have to follow the law, and the building inspector may have made a mistake in what he told you, but that doesn't excuse us from following the law. So I hate to make you come back, but I think we're gonna have to require some additions to the application before we can legally grant it. But I'd like to see if we can be clear about what those changes are and what we need. So, well, first of all, let me ask if any other members of the board want to speak on that, or have other concerns that you want to address before we kind of get into the additional information that I think we need.
No, I agree with you.
Okay. Does anybody think that you know, minor site plan is appropriate because it, you know, there's
No.
okay, all right. If there is a counter argument, I'd like to make sure we're not overlooking that. Oh, this is just, I just printed off the
I
code.
know. Where are we? 34 2.
Yeah,
Your major site plan is in 34.3.
yeah.
Would you like me to read the code enforcement's response at all, or? is that-
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and have that on the record? Yeah.
Um. He says, this is Steve Roth, our code enforcement officer. I just looked and saw that the application in November 24 was labeled as a minor site plan. The required signage just says site plan, so as long as there's enough information to move this forward, I hope it will. And then includes that the elevation drawings for the 2024 haven't changed, which is what is provided tonight. So he actually didn't make a claim as to whether he agreed.
Okay, okay, thank you. That's a good clarification. Okay. So the major site plan application requirements, it's first is, they're required to have the application form. With the name, address, signature of applicant, property owner, developer, seals of engineer, architect, landscape architect. I think we have that. Does anybody have any concerns about whether that is met? Okay, so the next one is a description or narrative of all proposed uses and structures, including but not limited to hours of operation, peak number of employees, maximum seat capacity, and proposed numbers of off-street vehicle and bicycle parking spaces. Now,
Wait, excuse me, can we
Yeah.
step back?
please,
Did the application form include the seal of the engineer who prepared the site plan materials?
I think
I thought it did.
it's,
It was really small, so.
like, I think the
Yeah.
site plan has a signature,
Yeah, I think that's,
like the site plan has the stamp and signature.
yeah, not the elevation with the site plan.
Got it, thank you. What's the date on that?
Oh, boy, I might need a magnifying glass.
Do you wanna look at it? Or
Can we just tell me the date on it? Because I think that it's just important for us to make sure that we're all talking about the same document.
yes,
Yeah,
Site plans tend to, can be a little fluid.
9 to 25.
9/2/2025.
Thank you.
I can see it.
I'm impressed. I did not read that.
Thank you.
All right. All right, thanks, Mindy. So, I mean, some of that, I think we got in your helpful presentation tonight. You guys explained that, it's 11 to 5 hours of operation. Peak number of employees, I assume that's not changing at all. Seat capacity doesn't appear to be applicable because we're not seating people.
I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Please.
but I mean, if the use is going to expand, I'm not sure we can assume that the number of employees is gonna remain the same.
Fair. Why don't we ask the applicant, do you think the number of employees, is the number of employees anticipated to change at all as a result of that?
Not anticipated to change because of the addition. It was interesting, someone earlier said that, it was Peggy on the phone, said that we probably hope we would get more people. We always hope we are gonna get more.
Any business does, right?
Addition or not. But we do not anticipate because of the addition adding more employees. If we were to really go through that, we have 3 full-time and 1 part-time right now, so it's possible we could add 1 full-time person.
Okay.
To go with 4 and a half.
Okay.
So I think the relevant question is not whether the anticipated construction would cause an increase in the number of employees. It's whether the use
The use.
post-construction would involve more employees.
Right. Okay,
And it sounds like there may be another full-time equivalent.
right. Proposed number of off-street vehicle and bicycle parking spaces. It sounds like there was, if I recall correctly, I think you guys said that there was going to maybe be opening up a couple of parking spots. And can we maybe get a little more detail? Do we know how many are gonna open up?
I believe the dumpster in Blood takes away 2, where it's gonna relocate, and we're gonna add so we'll replace those 2, but I think there's 2 additional.
Okay. maybe,
Yeah, just, may I suggest that should be in the site plan,
That should be shown.
Yeah.
That should be shown.
and the size of the parking space should be shown in the site.
yeah, because it looks like on the site plan right now that we've got the proposed site plan right now, it looks like the parking spaces end kind of right after the proposed addition, or after the end of the current building where the proposed addition would be. Are you saying that there would be another additional 2 or 3 there along the back of the proposed addition?
What's drawn is what we're proposing, I mean, we always add more on the addition.
I think the question is which ones, are there additional ones than what are existing that's drawn on there, because they're not labeled?
Yeah, where are the additional two?
The additional spaces are going to be against, because currently between the existing buildings, there's a dumpster. So there are no spaces there.
Right.
The building there would be spaces against the building similar to the spaces against the current existing structure.
So currently, where, I guess my question is, where do the parking spaces end currently? I'm looking at the, yeah, maybe it's easier to see if we can look at the map together. So
Yeah, so those are the 2 spots being added right there.
these 2 would be
Yeah.
added. Okay, so this is where it ends right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
correct.
Oh,
So,
no, that's fine. And I suppose the reason why we wouldn't be adding more is because that would go on to the RG&E.
yeah,
Right.
and I've been,
It doesn't.
I've been in communication with RG&E, and there's a old licensing agreement for this area that we have.
Yeah.
With RG&E. I know RG&E is in the middle of reclaiming a lot of their right-of-way areas, all the way down this whole stretch. But they're in talks and possibly doing long-term leases with groups. The village, a long time ago, was supposed to secure a lease agreement for the whole stretch and maintain it. That never happened, so we kind of started conversations on it.
Understood, okay.
So, but the majority of the people that park back here are not customers of the plaza, they're people that go to the canal and walk.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, if I may, I mean, number
Please.
3 on the major site plan requirement list is a site plan drawn at a scale of 1/4 inch per foot on 24-inch by 36-inch sheets, so that you can actually read them.
Right,
And I
right.
think
Now, do we-
would benefit from that, because there are a lot
Yeah.
of moving parts here.
Now, I assumed that we had that, but it just wasn't what was emailed to us, but maybe I'm wrong in that assumption. See if Alexander can enlighten us. Alexander, did we get full size on this, or just what was printed?
I think that the plans would usually go to the building inspector when the building permit, he does require 2 sets of plans which haven't been turned in yet.
Okay,
Once the project is approved, so there's nothing larger to present.
okay, so we would need that, I think, in order to approve it. Okay. So, yeah, I guess that probably wouldn't be too terribly difficult to get. Yeah, go ahead.
And I forget the date, but I believe it was 10 years ago, actually. The whole property underwent a huge site plan approval, landscape approval, lighting approval. I think it was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which was obtained and the work and completed and all that stuff.
Okay,
Well, what happened back in 2016 is that the planning board granted site plan approval subject to a number of conditions.
And all those conditions were met.
Yeah.
The inspector went through and inspected and we did the whole process.
okay,
So there should be copies of that stuff in the file.
yeah.
yeah,
So,
they sent to us.
Yeah.
All those resolutions and
the resolutions, yeah.
letters.
That's right. So I think we're gonna need to get the physical, full-size sheets. I know it's a bit of a pain, but I think in this case, we're gonna need it.
I'm sorry, which plan are you asking for? A full-size site plan or elevation plan, or what would be? Do I understand what I'm making?
Right, the site plan, is what we're talking about right now.
The one larger than this, or just?
Right, the full size,
Yeah.
like 36 by 24.
I got it.
Yeah. So the next item that's required is a certified land survey. I was a little bit unclear on whether we had that here or not. And it sounded like from some of the public comments that there's some concern about whether if we do have it, whether it's up to date or not.
I believe that was full, that information was full out of your records, that previous application.
Okay. So maybe that's part of the concern is we don't have an up-to-date one if it's an old one from, 10 years ago.
Right, and it sounds like there's some concern that conditions may have changed
Right.
since then.
Yeah, I mean, if there was no dispute that the old site plan was, or the old land survey was still accurate, then I would have less concern about it. But if people are raising concern that the old land survey may be inaccurate now, I think we probably would need to get a current, up, we could approve it.
Change in the conditions, so.
Sorry, I missed that.
We have not changed anything on any of the conditions of the property. Since then.
No, that's not a decision we can make here, just based on. We'd have to see, if somebody's saying that it is and it's under dispute, then I think I need to see it. But I think it's not so much a concern about whether your particular use has changed, but whether the surrounding properties have changed in the intervening 10 years since that was done. But I mean, if there's a dispute, I think we need a current one, just to show that. If there were no dispute, I would have less concern.
I'm sorry, can you just clarify what the uses of the surrounding, meaning the adjacent property?
Right. Yeah, that's right. So the next item that's required is we're supposed to have plans indicating the following with regard to the property in question. Location of all properties, their ownership, uses thereon, subdivision, streets, easement, adjacent land, buildings. And by the way, this is all, if you guys want to look this up later, this is all in section 210-34.3 of the village code. So you don't have to try to, memorize all this. You can look that up. But I just want to talk through it so that we're clear about where our concerns are. But yeah, so, plans are supposed to indicate locational properties. I think we have that on here, but there may have been some concern about whether it's up to date. Location and use of all existing and proposed structures. Again, there's some concern about whether it's up to date. Although no, that's with respect to this particular property, and you're telling us that is up to date. Location of all existing and proposed topography features, including site grading, open spaces, woodlands, water courses, slopes, wetlands. We did get the grading plan, but I was not clear whether we had anything about the current topography. So we want to make sure that it shows both the proposed and also the current, so we can be sure about that. The next one is location of existing and proposed landscaping, screening walls, fences. I didn't see that on here, but maybe I missed it. Did anybody see that on here? I want to.
Well, it does note the fence.
That's true, there is a fence. So maybe it's fine, I just want to make sure that, you guys are aware that you need to include that. All proposed landscaping, screening, wall, fences. I'm sorry, existing and proposed. Um. The next two were location of existing and proposed public and private streets, off-street parking areas. Again, on that one, I think we have some of the information here. What we needed, I think what we need a little bit more clarification on is what's existing and what's proposed. Yeah, it was tough to tell on there. Waste and trash management plan, I think we're good on that. You know, you guys put where you're gonna have the new location for the dumpster, so I think we're good on that one. The next item is the location, height, intensity, cut sheets, bold type and light colored exterior lighting fixtures. You know, I didn't see that in here, so let's make sure we get that.
Yeah, that one's here.
Oh, did I miss that?
This thing, like pictures that were approved and another one in the village.
Oh, no, it is on there. Okay, good.
But if the site plan, if a more comprehensive site plan is gonna be provided, it might be helpful to have this information superimposed on it, so you have it all in one spot.
That would be nice.
They're all building fixtures, sort of in the parking lot. Or pull
Got it.
anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that plan.
Okay. Next was the location, height, size, material, design of all existing and proposed signs, so let's make sure we get that on there as well. Next one was the location of existing and proposed utility systems, including sewage or septic, water supply, telephone cable, electric, stormwater drainage. And location of all or new modified downspouts or stormwater systems. You guys did include the new downspouts?
Or the new utilities, but the utilities aren't changing.
Okay.
All existing.
But let's make sure we get the location of the existing utilities on there so we can make sure we're in compliance. I don't want to approve it and then have it be challenged in court and you know, we didn't do it right and then it gets reversed. So let's make sure that we get that in the application. The next one is configuration of a system for stormwater drainage. And I didn't see that, but you know, did I miss that? Was that?
The whole property is sheet drained.
Okay. All right, so we just need to get that to be reflected on the site plan then. The elevation, I think we did get the elevations. I didn't have any concerns about the elevations. Did any members of the board? Any concerns about that?
Well, going back though about the downspouts.
Yeah, sorry, please, yeah.
Cause you mentioned like we wanna know about the water, cause the proposed downspouts on the rear, are concerned. Because there is no real, it's like 2 feet setback to the adjacent property. So where is that runoff going to go?
I mean, particularly in light of the fact that some of the public comment raised concerns about whether it's coming onto adjacent properties. We need to know, is it facing the adjacent properties? Is it facing away? Is there some other plan?
That's also why you need topographical.
Yeah, that's what I said, because if
Right,
if
true.
there's a swale or something.
Where's the
like
slope
that,
going? Yeah,
Then it would, you know.
true. And listen, I know that this is frustrating, but we gotta make sure we're following the law, because like I say, if we approve it and we haven't followed the law, it's gonna get challenged in court, and you know, it's gonna be a much bigger hassle than it would be to make sure we get the application right at the first time.
Right, but I think we should also clarify if we have concerns, so that we don't make them like apply and then.
Totally, yeah, that's why, yeah. And I think we can, I don't wanna deny the application and then have you have to pay a new application fee. I'd rather give you a chance to amend the application and include this stuff, if that's something that we can do, so.
And it may make more sense to go through the legal requirements and see if there's anything you think you don't need. In
Okay.
order to make a good
Okay.
evaluation and why, because, you know, just hearing us go through it, it seems like there's I mean, the reason for these requirements is that they're generally required for major site plans.
Right,
And it's reasonable to request them, and you can waive them if you find
Sure.
that it's not necessary to your consideration of the project, but I think the presumption should be that everything should be in there. unless you have a good reason to exclude it.
Right. Well, that's a good point, Mindy, rather than take time to go through each one until you know, you guys, we'll just assume that you need to provide everything in here unless we're telling you, you know, we don't find this one to be necessary.
And maybe, you know, if I may, the applicant, if the the charge can be provide us with a site plan that conforms to the requirements of 210-34-3, and if you think something isn't necessary, give us a narrative explanation.
Sure,
So
yeah,
that you can evaluate whether you agree, and if you agree, then, you
yeah,
know, you can waive it. But I think the presumption here is that, you know, this stuff is all reasonable. To require in connection with an application for a major site plan approval, and quite frankly, you know, I think I want to take a look at it because. You know, it's one thing to characterize this as a lot line adjustment, which is a type 2 action exempt from seeker. But this, you know, is not necessarily a type 2 action. Right, so it's probably gonna be either a type 1 or an unlisted. In which case we may trigger LWRP
right,
review also.
right.
So, you know, I think that while it's a good idea to try to move these things along quickly and not
Oh,
put up unnecessary
completely agree.
roadblocks. I don't want us to be in a position where we take 2 steps forward, 3 steps backward.
Yeah,
In our haste to get it done expeditiously.
no, I think that's probably right. Thank you for that, Mindy. So let's just say, you know, let's make sure that all of the items in section, sorry, make sure I'm right.
210-34-3.
Yes, 210-34.3. Let's make sure we get all those items. If one of the items appears not to be applicable or necessary, just provide us with an explanation why you think that's not applicable, and we can evaluate that. Okay.
Right. And so we'll need a part 1 FEAF required by seeker. I didn't see that in the materials.
Right.
And depending upon what you find, you know, there may be a need for an outside consultant and an escrow agreement for assistance with this.
Yeah, again, I hate to make it more complicated than necessary, but the way the laws are written here, I think we don't have much of a choice. So let's get that now. Because we don't really have a complete application, I think it would probably be inappropriate for us to talk about the merits of it just yet. Unless council, you disagree, you think we should at least maybe preliminarily talk about that.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with offering some you know, if you have some preliminary concerns to.
Sure.
You know, to flag for the applicant, you may have none. But if there are anything, you know, for example, like drainage, could be one. Things to highlight for the applicant to pay special attention
Sure.
to as he puts together a complete application for you.
So to be clear, we're not prejudging anything by offering some preliminary comments about, you know, concerns that we may have. But, you know, we did mention drainage, that is a concern, and particularly in light of the public comments raising that issue, we want to make sure that we're doing it right. Other concerns from other members of the board that we want to make sure they're aware of.
Well, I think the public brought up about like, well, everybody kept saying 2 stories. I think this is a single story addition, correct?
Correct.
It's just a high ceiling, it's like high ceilings.
Right.
And I guess the question is, the need for the height. Potentially. I know you're matching the roof line, but it is creating a larger structure right along the the lot line.
And just to be clear, we've been talking mostly about the site plan, but just to be clear on the setback, what is I mean, the current setback of the building is, and how many feet is that between the lot line? About two and a
really
half.
small. It's-
Okay.
Within 4 feet.
I
Okay,
think it says it's two something.
but it's pretty small, it's within 4 feet. Okay, and we would be. I guess my point is that the height and the setback kind of affect one another. If it's a larger height further back, that's less intrusive on a neighboring property. The fact that it's right up against the lot line, and that makes the height have more of an impact on a neighboring property. So we basically would be taking the building that goes all the way across one or one and a half other properties and expanding it onto a second or third property. There was also concerns raised about access. Is there, would you be open to something?
They don't have access to our property, I mean, legal access to our property.
Okay. They don't, okay, I see what you're saying. There's no gate or anything?
And it's not, there was no agreement ever made to allow them to access their property from our property.
Mhm. Is there currently, there is currently a fence there, right?
Yeah, they put it up.
Okay, and
After
is,
they purchased the property.
Okay. I see,
There was a fence with a gate at the time it was purchased, and the fence was just replaced and the gate was replaced also.
okay,
Well, we should have ability to access the fence for maintenance. I think
Sure,
that's why you
yeah.
have a gate in the fence is to allow them to maintain their fence, so that's reasonable.
sure, yeah. But I take the app. You know, it's not as though they're accessing a public way or something through the back gate. So maybe access is less of a concern, though they should still have access to be able to take care of the fence at a minimum. So we're looking at concerns about view, sunlight, that sort of thing. Would the applicant be open to lowering the height to address some of those concerns? Is that something that is on the table for you?
Yeah. We haven't really thought about it because this is the optimal.
Yeah. I mean, right now we've got two buildings, right? There's that you're trying to connect, and right now the proposed addition is to follow the existing line of the higher building. Is there any?
Well, the large really has like 15-foot finished ceilings approximately, the other one has like 8. I would
Yeah.
say 8.5, and the 8.5 is not conducive to what they're trying to do.
That would be pretty cramped, is what you're saying, yeah.
So 15-foot, really, I believe it's 15-foot. Really provides optimal flexibility for what they want to use the space for.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. I don't want to push the applicant into something that they're not willing to consider. But I do want to just make you aware that the height has been raised as a concern, and that is something that we'll have to take into consideration. Is it having an impact on adjacent properties? And if we find that it is having a significant adverse impact, that's going to make it a lot harder to grant the application. So if there is any, again, we're not prejudging it, but if that's something
The
that,
adjacent property is at an elevated height compared to Plaza.
okay. So you're saying that the ground level is
The
higher?
grade goes up.
Yeah, okay. That's probably another reason why
Reason out top.
having the topography would be really helpful.
What'd you say, Mindy?
I said another good reason to have a topographical map.
Right.
Is there, wasn't there one?
Well, there's a proposed grading,
That's the existing grade.
or that's the existing grading. Okay, it's a grading plan.
That was the approved grading plan.
Okay,
From
okay, so we do at least have that.
and David and all that was, almost put down.
Yes,
I can't read the numbers on them.
yeah. Okay. So we're not prejudging this, but these are some concerns and I want you to be aware of them so that if you're willing to scale back in some way to try to address some of those concerns, you know, that's something that you should consider, basically, is what I'm saying. But again, not prejudging it. Any other concerns or comments from members of the board that we want them to be considering in amending this application?
I heard comments about parking
Right,
and, you know, for the board to understand what's being removed and what's being replaced.
right. Yeah, I mean, we're losing, I think you said 2 spots to the dumpster and picking up another 2 to 4. Okay. Yeah, let's make sure we get that clearly reflected.
Well, like what's proposed, it's just not identified. There shows spots, but we don't know which ones were the original ones.
Right.
So that's,
Yeah, let's make sure.
just so
get
we can
that.
understand what's existing, what's being removed, what's proposed,
Right.
additional or change or whatever.
Right. Anybody have any other comments before we propose action on this?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we can, because I think the photos are actually very helpful. And I don't know if I would like a photo from the properties, like from the property actually, so you can see what it like what the existing building looks like from the adjacent property, to see the height of the,
No, that's a
roof
good-
line.
Yeah,
Both roof lines, I guess. So that I can actually see, what that impact may be, visually,
yeah.
but I don't know if is that.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, the code does say
Anything else?
anything that you find useful, yeah.
I was going to suggest too that you guys may, the chair could write a letter to the HPV chair before it like, it hasn't gone to them, but
Right.
it's very much in their purview to be more restrictive on the height of that building.
True, yeah.
So you can get better.
That's true.
thoughts.
That's true. We
well,
would,
that might be very true too, because the existing building probably doesn't conform.
They may-
And that
it-
might be,
Yeah, maybe just an email from chair to chair, because you
Okay,
don't want
this
to
is
prejudge
fair, yeah.
anything, yeah.
right, that's true, because even if we approved it, then they could.
It's in their court.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay.
And that was, I think, one of the public
Yes.
comments was a question about whether the HPV would be looking at this. My understanding is that yes, they would still need to approve it. Regardless of whatever we do. So,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, so I think I'd like to know what their comment might be about that, like about the height. And I think I would like to see if I can see the existing building from the rear, and from the adjacent properties, so you can see the fence line and the roof line basically. Which is shown in elevation, but obviously because that's just showing it at grade there, you don't get the true visual of it.
I do believe that I submitted those photos last year.
Oh.
I don't know if you still have them. I submitted photos from 64 State Street and from 66 State Street. You can see what it looks like. The building there. and-
Oh, because
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking, I wanted to see where it's
That's the only
66.
picture that was.
This is a new application, so there wasn't any new photos submitted for
right.
the
Okay.
public notice. Besides.
Well,
looking at
maybe it would be
tonight.
possible for the mover to resubmit them. Right. This
Yeah.
application.
Yep.
Okay,
I'm having a problem with this, with the setback. It's, I mean, the code says 35 feet. And that's a really
that
big,
is significant.
yeah. And if she is gonna have access to her fence, how is 2 feet gonna? I don't like the setback part.
That is a concern. I mean, I get the point that the existing building is a pre-existing non-conforming use. But expanding a pre-existing non-conforming use is different from maintaining a pre-existing
The
non-conforming use.
variance is pre-existing non-conforming, correct? Sorry.
Say that again?
Isn't there a pre-existing non-conforming variance with that variance already in place?
I don't believe so, but we can look into that, see if there is somewhere in the records, but I didn't see that.
That building.
For the building, but not for the new part.
Right. Right.
For the existing building. But not for,
As long as you're not moving into it, doesn't it continue to still exist?
No, we'd be expanding it.
For an area
Yeah.
variance, yeah.
Right.
right?
That was.
Okay, any other comments from members of the board?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I think at this time, if the board is ready, I would make a motion to table this and allow, yeah,
I
please.
have a question, for Mindy. Do we need to motion to amend to major so I don't have to renotice it, or is it like going to be deferred as a major? Because there hasn't been you guys are amending the application?
Well,
No, there's
Typically, we're not-
not being amended.
we're not amending.
Characterization's being changed.
Okay, so no renotice.
Let me see how you noticed it.
I think it's just that site
Very general,
didn't state major or minor.
yeah. Just the section for site plan.
But.
I think the public might have.
If the board wants to dollars
Let's see, do this at first.
Okay, yeah, it says that applicant seeks site plan approval pursuant to 21034, which is the chapter.
Yeah,
For construction of a 2140 square foot building. And anybody who reads that will see that's a major site plan
Yeah.
approval.
Right.
yeah, I think the notice is sufficient.
Thank you.
So,
Let me just see what the.
Oh.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of ambiguity about the lot line variance issue, but, setback variance.
It's the section 210 dash, or 210.
You didn't section.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't cite that section.
I think I did that intentionally, because it's not required in our public notices to state the chapter, just the
Right.
project and the location.
That's
Okay,
close enough.
thank you.
yeah, I'm not terribly concerned about the sufficiency of the notice. So I guess I would, at this time, I would move that we table the application, give the applicant a chance to amend the application to include the items set forth in section 210-34.3. And then in addition to those items, we would find it helpful to get some photos of the current conditions as well. And whether we get that from neighbors or from the applicant is probably less important, but we would like to see that. And then again, like we mentioned, if you think any of these items listed in the code are not applicable to your application, just provide us with an explanation of why you think it's not applicable, and we can review that. Okay. So that's the motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Member Vanderswag?
Aye.
Member Powers?
Aye.
Member Shannon?
aye.
Chair Cook?
Aye.
Motion passes.
So
Do we need to motion to keep the public hearing open? Or does that include
I
the?
think we
table?
can leave it open without a motion, but
Okay.
what do you think, Mindy?
Might as well.
We didn't move to close it, right?
Yeah.
So it's open.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll review this at the next meeting in November, unless you guys want to take longer to submit the amended application. Well, maybe we don't need to state a date right now. Maybe we can.
Right.
Just wait for it to,
Can I just hear what the motion said?
Or to table?
Yes,
Oh, gosh, now I gotta go back to the.
Sorry. I just want to hear it again.
like I said, to table it to give them an opportunity to amend.
Well, I lost it to go back. I just wrote down the table of the application. I have to look at the transcript for the. Gosh, I can't go back.
Sure.
Are we opening up the whole property site plan review again, or is it just that area of focus?
Well, I think the site plan required is the whole property.
But to answer your question, then you're not seeking to change anything other than this
Area.
particular area. but
Yeah.
The site plan itself has to include the entire property.
Right.
And I think it may be more clear if we were to instruct the applicant to supplement. And
Okay,
not,
rather than amend, yeah, I'm.
because we wouldn't just add to it, we don't necessarily.
That's true, we're not asking them to
Right.
change. Could we say supplement and or amend? As they consider appropriate?
Sure.
Okay.
Move to motion that we table the application, give the applicant a chance to amend the application to include.
Supplement
that
and or
for-
amend.
That was the original, so are you amending the motion?
Yeah, I think we'll have to amend the motion. I'm sorry, we gotta make sure we do it right. So I'm going to move to amend the motion previously passed to table the application. To give the applicant an opportunity to amend, to supplement and or amend the application to include the items listed in section 210-34.3 of the code. And to provide photos as well.
Is there a second?
Thank you.
Second.
Member Powers?
Aye.
Member Vanderswag?
Aye.
Member Shannon?
Aye.
Chair Cook?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Listen, I understand the frustration. I'm sorry that to make you come back, but we gotta make sure we do it right. And we can consider it at the next meeting with proper application. And again, this is no reflection on you to say, you're a bad applicant for not getting it right. We're just trying to make sure we follow the law.
I'm just following the direction.
Totally, I get it.
If you want to reach out to the president board.
Yeah, that's a good point. Should we make a motion to approve me reaching out, or is that something? Or is that something I can do without a motion?
I'll have a motion.
Okay.
You're doing it,
Let's make a record.
I said, you want that on record.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
that sounds good. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to authorize the chair to reach out to the chair of the HPB for comment on this application. And then we'll let you folks know what they say.
All right, and you may want to do that after you get the supplemental materials.
Oh,
so
that-
they have all the information that they would need to.
That's true. Maybe it's better for us to wait on that then. Okay, we'll wait until we get the supplemental materials, and then we'll reach out to the HPV and let you guys know what their input is. So. Okay, thank you. Sorry for the
Okay.
bureaucratic frustration.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I gotta say, your new leadership is refreshing.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Can we get a second for the chair to like reach out?
I think we decided we're gonna wait on that.
Oh, okay, oh, that's good.
I'll withdraw the motion.
We stopped, because we decided we would wait. But I think, I mean, but when we get their application, it's like prior to the next meeting, so still, that they reach out. Like,
It depends when we get it.
Yeah, I know.
If they don't.
Like, it seems unfair if this does not have the potential to address based on theirs, to make them ask
True.
it's November or another time. That's why I was just saying, because if it's a moot point, like it really, it's not, it's kind of unfair to make them, like prepare everything and then come back.
And did Steve already do the 239 Emerson?
I'm just.
Not that I have on file, I know.
Cause that's gonna need to be done also.
Right.
I will support the applicants and if they'd like to go to information only for HPV on the 20th.
Okay.
And I can let the board know if there's anything.
I think that would be a really good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's.
They're gonna wanna see building colors and windows.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay.
It's just information
I think
only,
very
yeah,
professional, if it's just
Yeah.
perimeter,
Yeah.
they may be very strict even just on the size and the scale.
Very popular.
Is what
Very
I'm thinking, so I know colors and window types and materials are big, but I also think that the size and scale might be might be
Yeah.
even
Sound familiar?
more prevalent,
Yeah.
if I say, but I don't know.
I would agree.
Real and math.
Right, that was.
Alright.
It's significant.
So let's see, what else do we have on the agenda? We have some resolutions to approve, correct?
I did receive member Shannon's comments about final versions for 3 of those documents, and I will already make sure that they're included in the final.
So should we wait and get the revised ones or we go ahead? Okay, all right.
Minor, what you sent me. One resolution was labeled 11, it should have been 12.
But they're editing.
Can chill it out. Not like,
You-
oh, they're already, no, and I was like, oh, I'm getting home.
I got so confused.
I know, that, now you're welcome to my life. So I will say the ones in tonight, 3, 4, 5, 6. We didn't get to approve last time because of the quorum, so we can skip those.
Are we gonna skip them?
We didn't have, remember Loda?
Oh, right,
To approve them,
Oh, okay.
right.
so they're carried over from last meeting.
Okay.
And then, there was a question about resolution 7, about adding that, and member Shannon brought this up too. That comment, that condition, and I was gonna check the minutes to see if you guys actually did add that to resolution 7, and you did not.
Okay.
Okay.
And then,
Well, should we?
I think Mindy mentioned, I don't know if it was being added retroactively, which is why we didn't do it at the time, and I was gonna check the minute. For it, so, I don't know, Mindy can guide us on that.
If we didn't do it, we can't add it.
Yeah, probably shouldn't do it now.
Right.
And then you had one more. Oh, all the special, we're not at the minutes. All the special meetings for regular meeting, right? Uh-huh.
And then there was some, like on resolution 2025-3, the second whereas. The Village of Pittsburgh comp plan and local, the project conforms with the comp plan, but the local waterfront revitalization is not applicable because it's not in the village waterfront district. We're gonna add that language to, rather than saying that it complied with the LWRP.
That's right. I do remember that now. So some very minor formatting comments. I almost even hesitate to bring it up, it's so minor, but on 2025-4, the last item H, the H is bolded. Let's just make sure that's consistent. Like I said, very minor, almost hesitate to even mention it. And then similar on 2025-7, the last item G is bolded, let's just make that consistent. This is what you get for putting a lawyer on the board.
No. I think that.
Beautiful thing.
I see that.
You guys see round instead of having an edit and then seeing them, I definitely expect some revisions or.
Well, then, in resolution 2025-10. You know, 1, 2, 3, the fourth whereas. There should probably be like a paragraph space between whereas the board makes the following findings regarding review requirements for the action. And then,
I'm sorry, maybe I'm not finding where you're at.
I am, yeah.
okay, so, resolution 2025-10.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth whereas.
Okay,
It starts, the board makes the following findings regarding review requirements for this application.
mhm.
I think there should be like a paragraph, it should drop it down to a paragraph for the seeker one, because. Then it would be consistent with how you handle the county planning and waterfront consistency.
Okay.
Yeah,
And on that one also. There's no address, there's no property address.
2025-10
Yeah.
in the action or? We haven't been consistent in including that. I know that's one of the edits that you brought up.
It bothers me. I want all that information on all the resolutions.
And I agree with you, and
yeah,
I
I
think
think that's a
that
good idea.
we talked last time about going forward, being more meticulous about that. And properly characterizing the project and the action.
Where is the appropriate place to put the address of the project?
So if you, where's that? Yeah,
Well,
so
Versus the
you know,
applicant.
like the application, similar. All of that information could be on the resolution.
I think, because these are legal documents. Can we just plug it in somewhere, or is there actually a place in the resolution of where it's supposed to
you
be?
can put it like in the caption, like where you have project applicant name action, you can have the the
Property address.
project property address. Yeah, I mean, put it under projects.
That's where I would put it, right?
Yeah,
That's where I would
swimming
put it.
pool, and then right under there.
Right under it. I would
Yeah.
put it right under the project.
Because it relates to the project. So I would put it under project, and then the project is what the applicant wants to do, and the action is the discretionary action that the board is.
And the property owner,
The property owner, I don't think needs to be described as long as you have the applicant identified, and as long as the property owner has given consent to the application in the application form.
Yeah,
okay,
Because it relates to the property. I mean, these things are not personal to the property owner.
true.
So
the least personal thing is the applicant.
that's true, but they're the ones seeking relief. Yeah.
They're the ones who are before us.
Right.
Let me just say, Alexander, you were doing a great job. And
I don't know how you do everything.
Neither.
yeah, honestly, I mean, if it were me, I would have so many more mistakes and inconsistencies. I just wanna say, you do a great job, and it's a tough seat to be in when you're doing this, and then you've got, 5, 6 other people scrutinizing your work and telling you all the ways in which you messed up.
Okay,
You
I learned a lot.
you do a great job,
Thank you.
and I wanna thank you for your hard work.
Thanks.
All right, now, Mindy, can we make a single motion to approve all of these resolutions as,
Can I just ask for one more change?
please?
To 2025-11, 2 changes to that then, before we approve them. So, the first one is under the seeker, the proposed action is a type 2 action under 6 NYCRR 617.5 C 12 and 17. not
Oh,
11.
okay.
And in the second page, item 2, same comment as before, the project conforms with the Pittsburgh comp plan, period. Local waterfront revitalization program is not applicable because it's not in the waterfront district. I mean, this is all really tiny stuff. Alexandra, I echo Sharon's comments about this is nice stuff. It's just so.
It's okay. I need to pay attention, I'm showing.
I'll know where.
So there's actually only two that you need to put into one motion. It's resolution 10 and 11. Because I do believe the others need member Loda.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, in that case, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve resolution 2025-11 and 2025-10
And 7.
and 2025-7
Thank you.
as amended according to the discussion here and member Shannon's comments provided previously.
Second,
Member Vanderswag,
Aye.
member Powers,
Abstain?
thank you. Member Cook,
I,
member Shannon,
I,
thank you. Motion passes.
now, did we have any?
There's 3 sets of minutes at the end.
Yeah. I don't think I had any changes on these. I reviewed them kind of quickly, but I didn't see anything that I thought needed to be corrected or fixed.
These will all be titled regular meetings.
Yeah, that's right, other than make that regular meeting as member Shannon pointed out. So anybody have any other changes or comments you want to make on these? Okay, all right.
I think we can only approve,
Hmm,
I may be able, as the recording secretary, to approve the other ones. If you don't have any changes. But, July 2nd is board members are present.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say, because the other ones I wasn't present.
right.
Oh, you have my name spelled wrong.
So I guess we'll have to only do the July 2nd one tonight, and we'll save the others for when Susan's with us.
Yeah, if you want to, if you don't have any changes, like I am recording secretary, and so I can as the clerk, then go ahead and post them, you guys don't have to adopt them.
Okay,
They're different than resolutions.
okay. I'm good with that, Mindy, if you're good with
I'm
that.
good with that.
Okay, all right, so do we even need to make a motion then, or can we just?
Just for July 2nd.
Just
So yeah, the numbers are here, we might as well.
Okay, that's fine. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the July 2nd regular meeting minutes as amended. According to our discussion here on the record tonight.
second,
Member Powers,
Abstain?
thank you. Member Shannon,
I,
member Vanderswag,
Aye.
Chair Cook,
Aye.
motion passed.
All right. Thank you, Alexandra.
well, I have one more thing.
Yep, I have, if you wanna take a packet and pass it down, this is member Shannon's item. You have that.
Yes, thanks.
I have one more thing,
Not that?
not that,
Oh, okay, I'm listening.
Thank you.
with so many new members on the board. When I came on 10 years ago, we all came on together, 5 of us came on together, and we had an amazing training
Hmm.
with this guy, Frank Scaramamano. So that passed 3 times. And then he did webinars. We had follow-up webinars. I mean, the training was wonderful and intense, but didn't have any idea what I was doing. So I need it again, and these guys need it too. So can we ask to have a formal training specifically geared specific to the village?
In-house?
Yeah.
Yep, let me look into it. Are you aware if he's still doing trainings?
I don't know.
Okay,
Do you want me to leave this with you?
yeah, I've never seen that binder.
Yeah, I think that would be.
I would
No,
love to-
so
love to
the
see it.
Yeah, I think that would be very.
The zoning code is in here, but it's the old one. So,
Yeah,
and then there's this, which is the zoning code and then the village law. Which is also awesome.
Frank was a professor at RIT. He's also an engineer and he consults with many municipalities in Monroe
And
County. Especially
he's still doing it?
Huh?
He's still doing it?
I think he's retired, but I don't know if he's still training.
Okay, so his card's right here.
Okay.
In here too.
sorry, my ride's outside. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Great idea.
Yeah, yes. Okay, well, I think that's everything that was on the agenda for tonight. Should we, John, do you have anything for
I
it?
want to adjourn first.
Let's do that. All right, so I'll go ahead and move to adjourn our meeting. Oh,
Do you just wanna let them know that we passed out if they wanna take a look at it?
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh,
Cause there wasn't a digital copy, so this is the first time they're seeing
Yeah.
it. If
Oh.
you want any feedback on it.
it's just, I keep papers, keep my papers. And I found this and it's got everything you'd ever want to know about the application. And I kind of wanted, I think I have one for resolutions too, that has, but I didn't bring it, so. I gave it to, Alexandria to see if you don't have any objections, to see if we could implement this again.
Yeah.
We're-
Like, as a template,
Previously.
yeah.
We're overdue to update our applications for both of these boards,
Okay.
though if we wanted to start making those edits and put them in front of the trustees for adoption as a form for the village, then that would be awesome.
Yeah, and then we get fillable forms, so people don't have to write on them.
I love that. Yep, we have a new website. new
Yes,
opportunity.
yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be very good.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you, Joanne. I think that's really, really
Yeah.
useful and helpful stuff. All right. I'll go ahead and move to adjourn our meeting tonight then.
Second.
Member Shannon,
I.
member Powers,
Aye.
member Vandershed,
Nice.
Chair Cook,
Aye.
motion passes.